All right, meanwhile, imagine being on a flight and hearing these words. Does anybody know how to fly this plane? That is essentially what Air Force Captain Mark Gongol heard over a speaker on a United flight a couple of months back. The pilot behind the wheel of the 737 apparently had suffered some sort of heart attack 30,000 feet in the air. Nurses who happened to be on board tended to the pilot while Gongol rushed to help the first officer land at Omaha Airport. Joining us right now is Air Force Captain Mark Gongol. Joins us today from Cleveland. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. What a story. So you and your wife and your family are sitting back in coach and you hear somebody say, is there a doctor? Is there a nurse? And then somebody said, hey, does anybody know how to fly the plane? What was going through your head?
Well, it was, Steve, it was interesting to say the least. There were 3 quick calls for medical help over the PA, and we, of course, felt the airplane slowing down and turning, and so we knew we weren't going to Denver. But then I heard the call, which was for any non-revenue pilots to ring your call button, and I figured out right away that that meant that the pilot was the patient.
Oh, man.
So I looked at my wife briefly for a second, and she looked at me, both kind of having this, are we really hearing this kind of moment together? And she said, I think you better ring your call button. So I rang my call button and stood up and started to make my way to the front.
Sure. So your wife said, honey, go right up there and please help land the plane. You get into the cockpit, and there's the co-pilot who's tending to things. You know, she doesn't know you from Adam.
Right.
Did she go through some sort of quick interview process for the job?
She did. There was about a 5-second interview, and she said, who are you? I said, I'm a pilot, and I was trying to be to the point.
Right.
And she said, what do you fly? I said, I'm an Air Force guy. I flew B-1s. And so she said, okay, close the door, have a seat. We're going to Omaha. And I need you to work the radios and back me up on the checklist. I want you to back me up on the checklist and work the radios for me.
All right. So we got a picture of the Lancer, the B-1 bomber that you have flown in the past. That doesn't look anything like a 737.
No, it doesn't. But I'll tell you that once you get to airplanes, in airplane's an airplane, you know, the controls are pretty intuitive. Things are laid out pretty well. It's not difficult to tell what's what or what what you need to do.
Okay.
It's just like going from driving a small sedan to driving, a pickup truck. The steering wheel's still the steering wheel. Throttle's still the throttle. And
so the systems were about the same, and you were backing up the co-pilot. Was the co-pilot completely sure about what she was about to do there?
She was. She was very calm, cool, and collected. I have nothing but the finest things to say about her. She's an absolute professional, and I'd love to fly with her again sometime under maybe less stressful situations. Sure. To be clear, she did all the flying. I was only on the radios, and I was only, backing her up on the checklist. But she did all the flying, and she kept her cool. An absolutely horrific thing that she must have seen to see, the captain go through what he went through.
Absolutely.
And she made a lot of very, very good, quick decisions in a very short order of time. The decision to turn the plane around and get to the nearest safe, suitable airport. Right. And she couldn't have done a better job.
Well, you're giving her credit. Did the passengers on board, once they realized, wait a minute, we're landed, and that guy from 23B just helped up there, did they give you a round of applause or anything?
After we landed and we got the captain off the airplane, we got him directly to the ambulance on the ramp, and there was some applause initially after that for the nurses. And after I went back to my seat shortly thereafter, after the emergency itself was over, we got towed to the gate, and there was some scattered applause and high fives. I think a lot of people were still looking at the nurses, and that's fine,
doing the math, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hope United Airlines is going to let you fly for free at least this year.
Well, they did offer everyone on board the equivalent of about one free airfare for a one round-trip ticket in the U.S.
That's good.
So they made good on it. They took excellent care of us once we got on the ground. Everyone got a free hotel for the night. Everyone got free, no questions asked, passed on to their final destination the next day. They did a really wonderful job, and I received a nice thank you letter from the chief pilot at United and a phone call from the captain. So he did survive, and he's doing well. So
well, that's all good news, and it ended well. A story with a happy ending.
Yes,
Captain, you were in the right place at the right time, and it's great to have you finally tell your story on TV.
Thank you so much. Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, Mark Gongol joining us today from Cleveland. Just terrific.